Thank you, Trey. Kamala Harris knows what to say and when to say it, sharing ever so reassuring messages to Israel on the eve of October 7th anniversary.
Do we have a real close ally in Prime Minister Netanyahu?
I think, with all due respect, the better question is, do we have an important alliance between the American people and the Israeli people? And the answer to that question is yes.
Let's bring in Florida Congressman Cory Mills. Congressman, she gives away her weakness with every breath and every word.
Well, she gives away her weakness, and weakness invites aggression, Dagan. You know that all too well as we watch the world on fire under this administration. But also, they need to be taking responsibility for the attacks that Hamas has taken, the attacks that Hezbollah has taken, the attacks to disrupt global trade with 12% in the Red Sea by the Houthis. This administration delisted the Houthi rebels as a terrorist organization. This administration has released billions of dollars in fungible assets to fuel and fund continued operations by the largest state sponsor of terror, which is the Iranian regime. This administration has allowed the largest oil exportation that's ever been done without enforcing sanctions. So what happened on October 7th would not have taken place if Donald J. Trump was still in the administration and president of the United States.
So, Cory, obviously Kamala Harris is trying to project the same kind of weakness as Joe Biden has, but with war on multiple fronts, whether it's Hamas or Hezbollah, Iran, this thing is expanding. Donald Trump says he can resolve this should he become the president, but sometimes these issues become very gnarly and are very, very challenging to unwind. Do you think Donald Trump, if elected, is going to be able to bring peace back to the Middle East?
I do. And I also think that we need to reflect back onto the Abraham Accords, which is the largest and probably the most significant peace treaty in the Middle East, a normalized relationship with Israel, something that had not happened since 1979 in Egypt and 1994 in Jordan. But we also have to realize that it's not just Iran as a player. Iran, Russia, North Korea, and other nefarious countries are actually partnered in together now. There's a geopolitical alignment, if you will, that's continuing to try and fight against the West. And what they want to do, China's ultimate goal is the Eurasian expansion, domination of Africa and Oceania to cut off Western Hemisphere supply chains. They want to attack the dollar. They want to eliminate the U.S. dollar as the global currency. And so Iran, by allowing them to continue to attack in certain areas and drag us or try to drag us into these wars, is exactly what China's trying to get, and what Russia wants is they ingratiate themselves in our Western Hemisphere in places like Venezuela and Honduras and Panama to control the tariffs and trade through the Panama Canal, and building the largest spy base and training base in Cuba, only 90 miles off of our coast. So there's a lot more to this to unpack, but I do believe that President Trump is the right one to take the helm and to be able to get control of this, because it's certainly not happening under this administration.
Congressman, stay right there. We'll come back to you.